Better late than never. Coast to Coast has arrived 5 minutes past our due time. David Lloyd, Carey champion with you here on the day after the Super Bowl. So the NFL postseason, Carey, pretty much a dud for the most part across the board. And last night kind of looked like a dud for about 3+ quarters. And then it turned into the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, so here are the numbers. First overtime in Super Bowl history. We already put that stat out there, 31 unanswered points. But, David, I think you already know this. There was a moment in which this game, we saw that, guess what, the Patriots actually might do that. We realized that something was different. So let's take a look.
Backs up, a blitzer coming, and Hightower gets to the quarterback. The ball is loose. Patriots sacking Ryan and recovering at the 25. Alan Branch comes away with a football force. And a fumble by Ryan off the sack by Hightower.
Hightower's play was a big play. We needed that one. Without that, I don't know if we have enough possessions or could get it done quick enough.
When did you smell it?
Strip sack.
Be honest. Strip sack.
That was it.
That's what happened.
Strip sack.
All right, so Keyshawn Johnson joins us to talk about what Bill Belichick and what you just heard James White talk about. That was the play that changed the game, a strip sack. So you've played in a Super Bowl before. You know what it feels like to be on both sides in terms of, I'm almost there, I might do it. So mentally, if you are on the Falcons, what are you thinking as players to watch that go down?
I wasn't even on the Falcons yesterday. I was at a house party, Super Bowl party, and I was pacing like I was on the sideline. So because I could feel it. I could feel that the New England Patriots and Brady and Belichick was getting ready to really make a real comeback. And a lot of people would sit there and say, well, they were down 28-3, but you could see it.
Right.
All of a sudden they score, and now they missed a field goal. It's like New England perfect fashion. This is going to end just like all of us thought it would.
Okay, so at 28-3, were you at 28-3? Did you have any idea?
I thought New England. I thought Atlanta would have to score one more.
Right.
Not a field goal, but a touchdown to just put it out the way. Just put it all the way, completely out the way. Because I remember late in the game on the sack, if they would have kicked a field goal, then they go up by a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they need touchdowns. You can't afford to score field goals against Tom Brady, no matter if it's a regular season, postseason, Super Bowl, whatever the case may be. You've got to score touchdowns. You can't score field goals.
You thought a field goal wasn't even going to seal the deal for them.
I was like, that's just, it might work, but who never, he just does some amazing stuff, and I don't know how they get it done, but it's Tom Brady. It's just Tom Brady. It's the weirdest feeling that you have. It's like Brady, Montana.
I know.
Even when a Rodgers or Favre, it's those quarterbacks that make you think, no matter what, I'm never out of it.
I agree. Everybody felt that way. You're like, you can't count them out. Okay, so to what you're just saying, you thought they needed more than a field goal because it was Brady and Belichick. Tony Dungy tweets this, so let me get your take on it. New England makes a living on people not playing sound situational football. Atlanta getting sacked and penalized out of field goal range was bad. So do you think if they ran the ball, it would have been a different situation?
Most certainly, but Coach Dungy's right. They force you into doing things and making mistakes and panicking. And coaches, I've seen it for years, coaches that go up against them and players that go up against them, they start to tighten up just like this at the moment. Then eventually something goes wrong and it turns for New England. Just like you look, 2 minutes left in the game, he throws the ball across the middle, cover 2 defense, the guy's trailing him. Just can't be an athlete. Jump up and catch the ball instead. He's playing volleyball. Julian Edelman goes and make one of the biggest catches in Super Bowl history. The rest now, the drive goes on, they score. Now you go into overtime. They win the coin toss. It was over at that point.
But, Key, there were just so many things that had to go right for them in order for them to get back in the game. And everything did go right. Was that luck or was that just what they do? Julian Edelman's catch was unbelievable.
Concentration. He didn't give up. A lot of the times you see receivers, that ball pops in the air, and the first thing they do is they just kind of just look to get hit. Well, he went for the football. He knew the moment. He knew the situation. He had to make that particular catch. I actually thought it hit the ground. So, because first glance, you're like, oh, it hit the ground. Then they replayed it. You're like, oh, he made that catch. Uh-oh.
It's crazy.
They're in trouble. But I thought Kyle Shanahan did a poor job on 2 drives toward the end of the game.
Okay.
Just run the football, man. Don't be too smart. We get it. You're the 49ers coach now. You don't need to prove to us you're smart.
Okay, but on the other end, there are those who would say they were aggressive always with their play calling. So why not do what got them to the big dance? Why should he depart from what he's already done?
Because there's no point in being aggressive. Now be smart. Be smart. You're up. You're not trailing. Just be smart. That's all you got to do. But I get it. You wanted to make Matty Ice the MVP. I get it.
Right. You want to see what he got.
You want to show everybody you're a great coach, and this is what I did. Look, he's the MVP now.
Yeah.
Just cost you, buddy.
Yeah, well, apparently. So then let's talk about, on the other end of the spectrum, Donovan McNabb. Some other folks have been talking about why not go out on top if you're Tom Brady. Could you see Tom Brady retiring anytime soon?
No, he's got at least three. I'm talking about like Hall of Fame type seasons left. Because they're young in New England. They're not old. And I mean, he's the oldest guy, but yet and still he's playing like he's 25 years old. And I think he's got about 3 more good years left in him, and then go out on top. You know, you're not looking at a guy who's leaning on his defense to win a Super Bowl for him at this point in time. They won the Super Bowl because of Tom Brady.
Okay, so you say go out on top. If he doesn't win a Super Bowl over these next 3 years, 3 or 4 years, however long he continues to play, is he going out on top?
I think he is, but guess where he will probably be? In the AFC Championship games.
Sure.
Look at the division. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden the Miami Dolphins just got better. The New York Jets, all of a sudden, they're going to the championship game, or the Buffalo Bills. You're talking about two of the 3 teams I just mentioned. One in New York, they got a new offensive coordinator, probably will be getting a new head coach if they don't win. Buffalo just got a new head coach, and the Dolphins are just kind of hanging around. And it's the division. The division allows New England to always be put in the position where they can win at home in the playoffs and then move forward.
All right, so Tom Brady surpasses Terry Bradshaw and his childhood idol and Joe Montana.
Don't ask me anything about who's the greatest.
Why not?
Because it's hard.
Why?
Because at the quarterback spot, I think it's hard with these guys because they're all really good. It's not like the wide receiver position. If you say, well, who's the greatest wide receiver? Jerry Rice. It's nothing to even think about. But when you start talking about the quarterback spot, you start saying Montana and Elway and, you know, what if Marino did this and
What's
what
your
if that?
criteria?
I think he's the most accomplished. But in terms of quarterbacks, I can't just say Tom Brady because there's so many of them that were so great. I mean, think about it. Tom Brady, 4 years ago, we were saying Joe Montana because it was 4-0. Or you would say Terry Bradshaw because it was 4-0.
Sure.
But I don't want to do that to Brady. I just think he's in that company of all those guys. I mean, he's right there with all of them.
Okay, you say it's hard because you don't want to do it because they all are great and they all have their own intangibles.
Yes.
But when they write the book, somebody will have to be Michael Jordan.
I know, but
GOAT.
Yeah, but everybody would argue it could have been Oscar Robertson or Bill Russell. That's what people going to argue. There's one guy, and I think of in sports, and one guy, like I said, that I think of when I talk about football in particular.
Sure.
And it's Jerry Rice. Because you say who's the top running back, if I ask Tom Jackson, he's going to tell me Jim Brown. But if I ask somebody else, they're going to say Emmitt Smith. I mean, it's just hard for that position. And maybe Deion at corner.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody would say Deion Sanders at corner.
You know, it's interesting because I asked Dan Marino the same thing, and he's like, of course, he wouldn't say he's the greatest, but he said he's one of the greats, while Troy Aikman, on the other hand, said, no, he is the greatest. So you talk to different quarterbacks, and you see what their perspective is on on what Brady has done.
Man, I just want to catch a pass from the dude. I don't.
There's still time to do that.
Not for me. I can't play tight end.
Well, you don't want to just go out and practice with him? You don't want to go out and practice with him?
Nah, I'm good.
Key, thank you so much. You always do a great job. I appreciate it.
No problem.